Good evening to all of you. My name is Saurabh Tripathi, and my signal topic is re-entry of spacecraft into the Earth atmosphere. So, what is the re-entry? So, returning from space, astronauts face a similar challenge. Earth's atmosphere present to them a dense fluid medium which at orbital velocity they must plan to hit the atmosphere at the precise angle and speed for a safe landing off. They hit too steep or too fast, they risk making a big splash, which would mean a fiery ending. If their impact is too shallow, they may literally escape of the atmosphere and back into the cold of space. This subtle dance between fire and ice is the science of the atmospheric entry. So our outline is a history and introduction, traits of the re-entry design, re-entry aerodynamics, type of re-entry, and the spacecraft. So the history. Although numerous government and universities started studying spaceflight before the 1950s, very few of very few thoughts about how a vehicle would actually return from the space. That research started in the early 1950s. During the 1950s, early research on missile re-entry vehicle focused upon long needle-like design. When tested in wind tunnel, so much thermal energy was transferred to these vehicles that they burned up. After the various research, the best design were called a blunt body design. Blunt body design had blunt noses that formed thick shock wave ahead of the vehicle that both deflected the thermal energy and slowed the vehicle more quickly. And now you can see the various design concept. Initially the needle-like shape, it is the initial concept and having a attached shock wave. So the shock along the body and they burned up easily. And the second concept of the blunt body concept in 1953, and the blunt body is having a detached shock wave, so the fire far from the body, so less heat absorbed by the blunt body. And then you can see missile nose cone in 1953 to 1957, and further the main capsule concept in 1957. And now the thread of the re-entry design. So all space mission planning begin with a set of requirements we must meet to achieve mission objectives. The re-entry phase of a mission is no different. We must delicately balance three often competing requirements. First is a deceleration, second is a heating, and third one is a accuracy of landing or impact. So the vehicle structure and payload limit the maximum deceleration or G is it can withstand. The structural G limit for a well-designed vehicle can be quite high, perhaps 100 of G's. That means when subjected to enough G's, even steel and aluminium can crumple like paper. The structural G limit for a well-designed vehicle can be quite high, perhaps 100 of G's. Human can withstand a maximum deceleration of about 12 G's, about 12 times of their weight, for only a few minutes at a time. Imagine, you can say imagine 11 other people with your same weight all stacked on top of you. So the maximum deceleration a vehicle experience during re-entry must be low enough to prevent damage or injury to the weakest part of the vehicle. But maximum G's are not the only concern of re-entry design. Too little deceleration can also cause serious problem. Similar to a rock skipping of pond, a vehicle that doesn't slow down enough may literally bounce off the atmosphere and back into the cold reaches of the space. And the second concern is heating. Uh, Limitation during re-entry is heating. Another limitation during re-entry is heating. The fiery trail of a meteor streaking across the night sky so that the re-entry can get hot. This intense heat is result of friction between the speeding meteor and the air. And you can say the shuttle has kinetic energy due to its speed around 7700 meter per second and potential energy due to its altitude. It must lose all this energy about it only about 1/2 hour to come to a full stop on the runway. So where does all the lost energy go? So you can say it converts heat from friction caused by the atmosphere molecule striking its leading edge. This heat makes the shuttle surface reach a temperature up to 1477 degrees C. So we must design re-entry trajectory and the vehicle to withstand these high temperature. As you can see from all these constraints, a re-entry vehicle must walk a tightrope between fire and ice, and you can say between being squeezed and escaping out, and between hitting or missing the target. So the tightrope is actually a 3D re-entry corridor through which a re-entry vehicle must pass to avoid and escaping out the burning up. So now you can say first in the left hand of your figure there is a manned capsule, and it is a blunt body design. So the shock wave formed detached shock wave, and the heat go away from the body. And we later we will show a simulation of the this body. And you in your right hand you can see space shuttle like simply like a needle type and a blood body type its nose, like a similar as a passenger's plane or commercial plane. And now you can see a heating during re-entry of any object in earth atmosphere. This is a meteor, and due to the deceleration and heating it can burn when it's entry into the atmosphere. So this is only like a small video. And now we discuss about the re-entry corridor. As you can see from all these constraints, re-entry vehicle must walk a tightrope between being squeezed and escaping out, between fire and ice, and between hitting and missing the target. The tightrope is actually a three-dimensional re-entry corridor. So you can see a overshoot boundary there is a drag is too low, and the undershoot boundary is deceleration too high. So we can uh, there is a path, or you can say corridor, which the aircraft, or you can say space shuttle, easily re-entry in the aircraft and landing safe to the ground. And as we discussed, the size of corridor depends on three competing constraints: deceleration, heating, and accuracy. For example, if the vehicle stays below the lower boundary, you can say undershoot, it will experience too much drag, slowing down rapidly and heating up too quickly. And on the other hand, if the vehicle enters above the upper boundary, you can say overshoot, it won't experience enough drag and may literally escape of the atmosphere and back into the cold zone, or you can say back into the space. So if designers are not careful, these competing requirements may lead to a re-entry corridor that's too narrow for the vehicle or to steer through. And now we can talk about the thermal protection system, and it's prevent the heat during the re-entry. So as you know, during re-entry things get hot. How do we how do we deal with these massive heat accumulation without literally burning up?